There is baseball, regular season June baseball that is on my radar, a made-for-television matchup. The two most valuable franchises in professional baseball locking horns, mano a mano at Chavez Ravine, the Yankees and Dodgers. Two iconic MLB franchises. And did you watch? Were you checking this out? It was prime time exposure all weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Massive for the television partners of Major League Baseball. So Aaron Judge did not play in the game on Sunday. He had a boo-boo. He hurt his foot in the game on Saturday because, of course he did. He made an effort play, and his foot collided with the bullpen gate, which opened up. So, of course, that means you must get a day off. So Judge was not in the lineup. The Yankees. You think of the Bronx Bombers, the Yankees using small ball as the Dodgers played the infield up in the late innings, and the Yankees were able to squeeze a couple of runs across in the late innings, 7th and 8th innings, on soft contact ground balls, and they also got a home run later to extend the lead. But the Yankees win 4-1 over the Dodgers. They win the rubber match and take the series 2-1. So the Yankees get the win there. J.D. Martinez had a home run for the Dodgers. He's played very well after coming over from the Red Sox. So the Dodgers lose the last couple of games. And Clay Holmes, what up, Holmes? Clay Holmes out of the Yankee bullpen. 1 inning, he got the win. And Wandy Peralta, the great Wandy Peralta, the new Mariano Rivera, unless he's not the Yankees rotating closers, because everyone does that now. All the nerds say you should just rotate closers. Therefore, we don't have to pay a closer a lot of money. And he got the final 4 outs to get the save. So let us discuss. Now, rather than focus in on this series, there are some things I will talk about in this series. But rather than focus in at the start, Yankees and Dodgers, it is more interesting to me to use a toss-up question. So here is the toss-up question. You've got the Dodgers on one side. You've got the Yankees on the other. You can only pick one. Who has a better chance of getting to the World Series come October, Dodgers or Yankees? Now, the arrow on this one, even with the outcome this weekend, the arrow is pointing at the Dodgers. Now, I'm not being a house man. Let me give you my logic on this. I've got treasure map, time card, and pink slime. And we will combine all of these things together, and we will make a failed at bat, which is what the Dodgers had many of them against Domingo Germán and the other pitchers for the Yankees. I guess that pine tar was good at Dodger Stadium. Now, number one. So I give the edge to the Dodgers, but it is a slight edge if you use the toss-up question, Yankees or Dodgers, more likely to get to the 2023 World Series. I give the edge to the Dodgers. The reason why, we are roughly 60 games into the season. So you look around, there's going to be a bunch of trades that happen between now and the July trade deadline, late July. So there'll be a bunch of transactions, moving parts all over the place. But the main reason to have more confidence in the Dodgers and the Yankees is not because all of a sudden I like Dave Roberts. I don't. The reason to trust the Dodgers rather than the Yankees is the thing we always say in real estate: location, location, location. You can have the same house that's on the Pacific Ocean overlooking the cliffs in Malibu. That same house can be on the hard scrabble streets of the wrong part of town, and the price of that house will be dramatically different because location, location, location. Despite the hype, the National League, which was supposed to be the power league in professional baseball, that has not been the case. Right? The expectations of the pundits were wrong up until this point. And so when you look at the hand-drawn treasure map, it is more realistic to think that the Dodgers can get it done in the National League as opposed to the Yankees in the American League. You look at the Dodgers. Who's the other monster team in the National League which would currently be in the playoffs? There's only one other team that you consider a monster, and that's the Atlanta Braves. That's it, right? It's either Dodgers or Braves. So those are the two top teams. You look around the other teams right now in this moment who would be playoff teams, they do not have the fear factor. They don't. As of this moment, the New York Mets, the San Diego Padres and the Philadelphia Phillies would not qualify for the postseason. And you look at the playoff field right now, today. We do the show today. We don't do the show at the end of the year. We do the show today. We worry about that show at the end of the year. But right now, if you look at the National League, these are the playoff teams. Other than the Dodgers and Braves, you've got the Diamondbacks, which nobody's taking seriously, the Brewers, the Pirates, and the Marlins. Those are the other teams. Of course the Dodgers have a better chance of getting to the World Series. They're in the National League. Hello! And then you look at the American League, and you're like, well, that's where the good teams are. And you say, well, some of these teams are frauds. They'll be exposed in the playoffs. Okay, maybe the Rangers will be exposed in the playoffs, but they have a real lineup. They have a legitimate lineup, the Texas Rangers, and Tampa Bay plays this weird Frankenstein style of baseball. And they did get to the World Series, the hardest playoff of all time, 2020 World Series, Dodgers-Rays in that Fall Classic. So the Yankees have to get through all those teams. The Orioles, there's a bunch of teams that are also lurking that are pretty good. Now, page 2 here. I would like to address with you for a couple of minutes here something that happened in this game on Sunday, Dodgers and Yankees, because it annoyed me. And I have the bully pulpit here. When things annoy me, I can complain, and you can choose to listen or not listen. So this Dodger pitching phenom, this guy Bobby Miller, really good. Young guy, he's living up to the hype. A lot of these young guys don't live up to the hype. He's done it so far. He's throwing absolute BBs up against the Yankee lineup without Aaron Judge. For 6 innings, Bobby Miller had the Yankee batters corkscrewing themselves into the ground for the most part. It was just dominance. It's great. The guy's throwing right around 100 miles an hour, give or take, and he's just doing everything you want from a pitcher to do. And even though the Yankees did not have Judge in the lineup, it's not really a surprise. Even though Aaron Judge is built like a lumberjack, he still has baseball DNA, and baseball DNA, when you go to the ground, when you make contact with the wall, you need medical intervention. That's just the way it is. But to answer the question, why did Dave Roberts take Bobby Miller out of a game? He's shutting down the Yankee lineup. They look like they should be in AAA, the Yankee hitters, against Bobby Miller, and you take him out after 6 innings. So why would you do that? Why? Because it's the Dave Roberts Dodger way. That's why. It's the most maddening thing, and it's been going on for years, and you're not allowed to say anything because the Dodgers win around 100 games every year, and they're in the playoffs, but it's insane that this continues to go on. I know you're just a boomer. You're old school. You've got to protect the pitchers. Screw you. Listen, Bobby Miller was great. To me, there should be value on perseverance. And the fact that there is no value placed on going deeper into games sets you up for heartache down the line. Now, I understand everyone's doing it. Okay. But wouldn't you be better off, just between me, you, and a light post, if you created a culture like the Miami Heat culture we love to hear about these days? A culture of pride for going deeper into games, maniacal work ethic, if you will. Is that such a bad thing? It's like, no, you should be shamed if you only come out after 6 innings. But the Dodgers, this entire time, they've had all these great teams. There is no value pressed on going the extra mile, right? It's like, yeah, just do enough. You don't need to get A's and B's. Just get C's. C's that get degrees. And that is true. C's do get you in the playoffs. They don't seem to win you a ton of World Series, though. They win you 1. C's win you 1. A's and B's might win you more than 1. I'm just saying. What do I know, right? What do I know? But under Dave Roberts, the requirement for pitchers has been the bare minimum. That's it. And they don't care. He just follows the instructions of the nerds in the front office and all that. The Dodgers have coddled pitchers, and it's enough to give you a migraine headache if you have a vested interest and you watch this from the outside. Bobby Miller, the guy we're talking about, 86 pitches. He allowed 1 hit to the New York Yankees. 1 hit. 7 strikeouts over 6 innings, but 86 pitches. And rather than say, why don't you go out there, give us 2 extra pitches, go to 110 pitches. Get through that 7th and 8th inning. We'll go to the bullpen in the ninth to get the final 3 outs. No. Are you kidding me? You're a loser. You're bonkers. What is this, the 1980s? What's wrong with you? That's what I get. And then these Mama Lukes on television defend Dave Roberts. What exactly are you saving Bobby Miller for? I'm asking for a friend. Because here's what I've seen. I remember last year, Clayton Kershaw had a perfect game against the Minnesota Twins early in the season. They took him out of the game to save him for the playoffs so they could get eliminated by the Padres in the first round they played in the postseason. So what did you save Kershaw for? What are you saving Bobby Miller for? So he can go out and play golf somewhere while the other teams are in the National League Championship Series? He's 24 years old. The Kershaw thing is, he's old. Okay, Bobby Miller's not old. And what are you doing? And spoiler alert, the Dodger bullpen, I don't know if anyone's noticed, they're not all that good right now. All right, a final point. So what did you make of the overall television coverage of Yankees and Dodgers? And I did focus, and I was flipping back and forth between the Nuggets and the Heat, which started an hour or so after the Dodgers and Yankees. So I was flipping back and forth. And watching the coverage of the Yankee-Dodgers was about as enjoyable as if you've ever cut yourself and then there's a scab, and then you grab the scab and pull the scab off before it's fully healed. About as enjoyable as that. And it was painful. It was unnecessary. I did go to the mute button quite a bit. There was a lot of spam. And I get this from a lot of my baseball broadcasts that I watch. There's a lot of, I call it pink slime, that chicken nugget hot dog filler, the pink slime. It's like the people who do the television broadcast, they have these production meetings, and they try to cook up as many distractions to get you away from what you're actually tuning in for. For example, the Dodger-Yankee game, if you were watching this game on Sunday night, you noticed a lot of fluff pieces. And unlike TNT and Charles Barkley, for example, there's value added in an NBA broadcast when these guys are playing grab ass. The ESPN guys are not entertaining. David Cohn, Eduardo Perez, and Carl Ravitch. I would rather bang my head against the wall until it starts to bleed. I would think that would be more entertaining than listening to these yahoos talk about the game. And they don't even really feature so much the game itself because they're talking about, for example, they did a fluff piece on Dave Roberts and Aaron Boone, who went to college at the same time. One went to UCLA, Roberts, the other went to USC. And this became a big piece that they had to show clips of. They interviewed them before the game, and they spent about 10 to 15 minutes of game time on this. It was a one-run game. It was a one-run game late in the game. And we're learning about the history of Dave Roberts and Aaron Boone. I don't need to hear about that. I don't. Do you need that? I don't need that. Who needs that? Does anyone need it? You know the people that need it? Nobody. Nobody needs it. Zero. So anyway, that is the constant distraction is the way I would describe it.